Hey folks, welcome back to Green Iron. Know it's been a little bit since we've been on. It's been winter. Not much going on in the garage, but spring's starting to get here, and we've been starting to get back down here to fiddle in the garage a little bit with the vehicles. And was going around the ambulance here with the grease gun, hitting all the zerks, and found a problem with the rear shackle. So I got a rear shackle that is actually starting to separate a little bit. Found out when we were greasing it. So went ahead, got a new shackle, and we're gonna go ahead and get this installed in the truck and get the truck all up to par for upcoming spring here. So sit back, that's what we're gonna do on this episode of Green Iron TV. Thanks, and like always, make sure you give us a like, leave a comment, and hit that subscribe button. Also, take a look down in the link below. Check out our merch store. We got some cool Green Iron t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, featuring vehicles. So, check that out. Love it if you want to buy one. It helps the channel out a little bit. Helps me keep going on all our Green Iron. So sit back and enjoy, and thanks for watching. Okay, so as we were greasing our fittings here on the rear shackle, we noticed that this shackle here is busted out from behind. And so the way these shackles are made, so you have the tube that runs through and is welded around. And so what's happened is over time, this weld is let go, and it's allowing that to flop in there. So we're going to go ahead and get that changed out. So one of the things, I've already gone ahead and I've grabbed the wire brush, and I've been wire brushing along this because this stud runs into the frame, and it is a stud. It is not a bolt. There's not a bolt on the backside, and so you have to be really, really careful that you don't snap this one off, because if so, you have just a stud sticking out of the frame, and you're going to have to weld new studs into the frame. So we're going to be very gentle getting this one off. Like I said, I've been cleaning along the threads with the wire brush. I've also done that on the back side of the threads there, so that we can hopefully get these nuts off and get these bolts out of here pretty easy without too much trouble. Okay, so we got a 15/16 socket, and we're gonna put it on here with the breaker bar. And the first thing we want to do is just see if we can break it loose gentle. All right, there. Like we said, we want to be very, very careful. That stud can be fragile and can be broken off. So now that we got it kind of broke loose, let's hit it with the impact, see what we can do. All right. Now we can see where this is broke and separated out. So we'll be able to get this out and get this replaced. All right, let's see if we can get this top one loose now. Okay. Now we gotta see about getting that other one broken loose. That one's gonna be the stiff one. All right. Now we've gotten that bolt broken loose and spin it a little bit. Hopefully, that means we'll be able to get it out of the bushing that it's been in there for 50 some years. So, yay. All right. Woo! Hey, we got that bolt out. So nice. All right, you can see this shackle completely blew apart. And now the fun part's probably going to be getting that bushing out of there. That looks like that's going to be fun. Okay, we got the pipe wrench on it. We got this to be able to spin a little bit. It's just going to be basically getting this to loosen up enough so we can get the slide off. So, I'm going to keep working at it. I've been spraying some PV Blaster down in there. Woo! Ah! Hey, we got it. Nice. All right, so made a little discovery. The shackle I had a bunch of shackles in stock. So I did a quick comparison, and guess what? I have front shackles and no rear shackles in my collection of spare parts. So off to the internet, I'll go track one down, get it here in a couple days, and then we'll get this cleaned up and put back together. Okay, so one of the things I suspect led to the demise of this is the fact that this shackle pin here, even though we've been trying to pump grease into it, because I actually took out the top pin and was the same way, is that there's the grease, there's a plug of dried 50-year-old grease in here at the very end. So as you're pumping fresh grease in, it's trying to push that plug out, but that plug's not going anywhere. So best thing I'm going to do to remedy that, so we're going to get a wrench and we're going to carefully take out that Zerk fitting. And let it. So what we're going to do is I just took an old Allen wrench and we're going to push it in there. And look at this crusty, dried hunk of poo that came pushed out of there. I mean, that's crusty and solid. So that has basically, now we're pushing out and we can get the fresh stuff out. So once we get this all back together, we'll pump it all full of fresh grease, get this all lubricated. But we're going to clean this up. We'll use a little brake clean. Take all that old crusty dried stuff off there. And we're even going to get a little sandpaper. We're just going to lightly go around and sand those surfaces just a little bit. We want to just basically get rid of all the petrified stuff that's on there and get down to a good surface. So with a piece of sandpaper, we're going to just sand this up. So we just want to clean all that stuff off there. You feel a little bit of a rough spot along the bottom. Make sure we get that nice. Okay, it's going to give us a nice surface for that, and we'll grease that new bushing up, and then once it's on there, we'll go ahead and pack the Zerk with fresh grease and get this all flowing good and working good. So we'll go ahead and put that Zerk back in. Okay, so we've already cleaned the old dried cruddy plug out of that was holding it in. It was keeping it from the fresh grease coming through. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put this in the vise here and then clean it up. So we just want to clean up, get all that old nasty hard dried stuff off there, get ourselves a nice smooth pin that we can put back in. So we got one little rough spot here we'll work on. There, that cleans that up pretty good. So you know, that, like I said, cleaned up pretty good. And once it's all greased up, that'll should slide in and should work good for us. Okay, the boys at Memphis Equipment really came through for us and sent us our shackle. And we got lucky because this is probably one of the last OEM shackles left in the United States. So they had one left. So it is all packaged in Cosmoline. And so we'll get it opened up here and get it out. And so we'll get that all cleaned up, sprayed off, and installed. It's obviously a lot better shape than this one. So once we get it cleaned up, we'll get it greasing in the spot, grease up our pins, and get it all reinstalled. All right. We are ready to get this installed. We're going to grease up this pin real good. Some good waterproof grease. We want to make sure this is well lubricated. All right, we'll get our shackle on now. Give it a couple extra ugga-duggas. All right. Now to get the upper pin in. Knock her light down. All right, so we'll jack the Jeep back up, get the jack stand down, and then let it down into its spot. Okay, we got our shackle all aligned. We're going to go ahead, we're going to grease this pin real good. And one of the things I did do is I did take the Zerk fitting out of the end here. And that is in case, we have to tap on this a little bit as we get her lined up and fitting through the spring. But nope, I lined her up that good. Yeah, just slid right in. Get the nut on the back side before it goes too far. All right, we'll grab that on the back side. Now, important, you don't want to use the box end because you'll get it pinched in against the frame, because once this is all the way tightened up, there's not enough room. So you have to use the open end and get on it, but tighten her up. Perfect. Nice and tight. We can put our Zerk fitting back in now. All right, now all we got to do, we're going to hit this with the grease gun, pump grease into those two pins, and we'll have this thing all set. All right, hook down with the grease gun. There we go. So, all full of grease, ready to roll. And one of the last things, we'll just hit it with a little black spray paint. All right, we'll call that done. Okay, folks, that's going to wrap up this episode of Green Iron TV. Got that shackle all replaced on the 1967 M725 Ambulance. So, wasn't too hard. Like I said, luckily we found one. It was probably one of the last ones of NOS stock left probably here in the United States. So anybody else that's going to have to do this change, you're going to have to do some searching. So hopefully we don't have any other problems with the shackles on the other side or on our 715 truck. Like I said, the big thing I think that really affected that was, even though we've been hitting the Zerk fittings with grease, in each one there was a rock hard plug of 50-plus-year-old dried grease that was right there in that hole that was basically blocking it, that was keeping the fresh grease from getting out and along the pins and from lubricating along the shackles, along the rotating surfaces. So what that did is that caused that bottom one to kind of stick, and then as the springs moved, it put tension on the arm against the bushing piece, and that eventually broke those welds and broke that loose. So glad we got it all fixed. Gets this ambulance back ready to roll. We are getting close and close to spring, which means we'll be able to get these vehicles out, get them running, and start enjoying some outside stuff. So like always, I want to thank you for sticking around. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button down below. Give us a like, leave a comment. Make sure you stop, check out the link for all the Green Iron merchandise. There's cool hats like the Green Iron hat. We got sweatshirts, t-shirts, all kinds of cool stuff. So please take a moment, check that out. And if you haven't already, grab something from the merch store. All that does is help me keep going on all these fabulous old Army vehicles, and allows me to keep them up and going and being able to enjoy them with the public. So thanks a lot, and you folks, have a great day.